Welcome to Demand Forecasting. This is Mark Spielis. I'm going to be covering demand forecasting in a two-part series. This is part one of that two-part series. So welcome. Many people look at forecasting as some sort of magic balls, this glimpse into the future that gives us information on what to do. I think it's much deeper, or it is much deeper than a crystal ball, right? And I think Yogi Berra said it yes. So Yogi Berra, known for his famous sayings, when it ain't over till it's over. And one of his less famous sayings, predictions are usually difficult, especially about the future. So I think that sums up demand forecasting. It has huge implications for us in the supply chain. However, it's very difficult. All right. So demand planning. Why are we focusing on demand planning? It is the basis, the foundation for supply chain activities. So when we look at this planning, it drives our production schedules. It drives our purchasing schedule, among other different supply chain and logistics activities. All right. So let's look at those activities through a couple of basic methods, a push and a pull based system. All right. And so when we look at these two systems, first of all, when we look at a pull-based system, probably the one that you're most familiar with is just-in-time automotive. And the pull-based system is receiving signals from customers relative to the types of vehicles and the different accessories they want on their vehicles. However, demand forecasting allows automotive manufacturers to plan out their capacity. What size plant should they have? Where should it be located? How many people should be working in it? What should be their planned capacity at that facility? So even within a pull-based system, it's providing the automotive manufacturer that information as well as providing downstream activities to their suppliers like Gentex, who supply the mirrors for the automotive manufacturing centers. Demand forecasts are also used to push products to customers. The industry that probably is most known is our retailers. Retail products are available when we go into stores, or when we go online, the products are available. So demand forecasts are used to push products into retail stores to make them available for customers. So we see that with Walmart, Target. We also see it with Home Depot. Now, Home Depot has a combination of push and pull. As an example, when you look at their paint the paint base is pushed into the stores. However, when we look at the tints are pulled. So based on customers that come in, they are going to want a variety of different tints based on the paint. So Home Depot, among Sherwin-Williams, as well as Ace Hardware and Lowe's, they all do the same thing. So it's a pull and push-based system. But they need to do a demand forecast to understand how much of each that they're going to need. All right. So at the end of the day, though, demand forecasting is difficult, right? It's not easy. And we see it through the entire supply chain and the impacts of quality or poor demand planning throughout supply chain management. So when we look at all the different activities that occur within our supply chain management, there's tactical roles that are achieved with demand planning, but also long-term and strategic decisions are made with demand planning. For example, manufacturing. Should we add manufacturing plants? Where should we be adding those manufacturing plants? Distribution. Should we add distribution or fulfillment centers, as Amazon is doing right now? How many trucks do we need? Should we go out and purchase assets? And then in the context of retail, where should our retail locations be? Should we even open up any more retail stores? Or should we focus on online retail? So within the supply chain management, demand planning is the basis of all of these decisions, both short-term and long-term. All right. It's also driving within the supply chain inventory levels as well as hiring. So a lot of different decisions are being made based on demand planning. All right. So we see today with a stay-at-home economy, the entire supply chain and industries have been changed, from travel leisure, to the different consumer packaged goods now that we demand more that we're staying at home. All right, so the stay-at-home economy is driving online retail. Thus, demand forecasting is ever more important today when it comes to retail and retail services. So, this ends the first part of a two-part series. Join me in part 2, and we'll talk more about demand planning in the supply chain. Thank you.